Hi, Megan.
Hello, I'm so excited to be here, Ashley. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, well, thanks for joining us. I'm really happy to have you. I've been like kind of lax about guests this school year. I usually have like started the guest rounds by now. And it's just been a crazy year for us. So I'm
Oh,
happy you're one of our first guests of the school year.
yeah, that makes me super happy. I love chatting all things kids and supporting them. So this is amazing.
Yes. Well, it's great. We're really happy that you're here, and I think the best place to start is with a little introduction. So why don't you tell us a little bit about what you do, why
Yeah,
you care,
yeah,
and about your business as well.
absolutely. So kind of a two-part story here. I all I've ever wanted to do was be a teacher. I was the little 5-year-old girl with my stuffed animals set up, my whiteboard. And it was all I've
Me
ever
too.
wanted to do. So I got into teaching. And about 5, 6 years in, I realized after sitting down to look at my end of the year data, I was a reading specialist. So I was working with kiddos not quite in special ed yet, but they were right on the cusp of qualifying. And sat down end of the year with my best friend who I worked with, Laura, looking at our data. And we looked at it and went, wow, we are really bad at our jobs. We're really bad. Look at all these kids that started the year with us in intervention are still here and still qualifying to come to us next year. And it was like a punch in the stomach. Like, what? The common denominator here is us. What
Mhm.
are we doing? And that same exact day, we got an email about letters training. First cohort in Minnesota, new thing coming in. It was brand new in our state. And who wants to try this out? And we were hands raised in the air. We aren't very good at what we do. Kids are still coming to us over and over. So we went through letters training, and it just opened so many ideas of wow, this is how we're supposed to be teaching. That next
Yeah.
school year, when we just started, we were still in the training, but
Explain quickly what Letters
yeah,
is. It's a Wilson
yeah,
program, Orton-Gillingham approved.
absolutely. So it's structured literacy. It's teaching both the neuroscience of how do our brains learn to read? How do our brains learn? So that's kind of what we started with. And that was fascinating to me of what is actually happening. How are neurons connecting in pathways? That was the first part of it. And that was a big aha to me. And then it goes into how do we, in a direct, structured way, teach kids all these skills that they need? What are the skills that they need? I didn't know what phonemic awareness really was. I was teaching kindergarten. I taught kindergarten for years. I didn't know what phonemic awareness was. Like,
Yeah.
not good at all.
But
So,
amazing. It's great that you had that. And those trainings are so comprehensive. I mean, I say
yes.
I didn't do Wilson, I did MZ. But I um like have studied for the bar exam. And the
Mhm.
30 hours that I was in my MZ course were the most intense
Yes.
academic hours,
Yes.
arguably, of my life. I mean,
Yeah.
like maybe it's like having a baby and I forgot about the bar exam, but, like, holy cow, it
Uh,
was, like, it's legit. So,
it is.
yeah, you're
Yeah.
learning.
Yeah. And it felt like you were back in college. I'm like, this is what I should have learned in college. Why was
Yeah.
I remember I had an entire course in college teaching me how to hold a book. Like that was the course. It's like, here, you gotta hold it. It was children's literature. And here's this lesson. We're testing you on where you put your fingers. Like, I was paying so much money for that? This is what I needed was
No way.
how did I learn? That's a
How are
whole other
you supposed
conversation.
this we take side trips here, how are you supposed to hold a book? I didn't learn.
But there was apparently the right way. And I don't
They
think there is
didn't
a
teach
right way.
they didn't
Three
teach the
fingers in the
German
back, two
teachers.
fingers in the front. That's what, you know. So
Okay,
three in
okay.
the back. That is, man, I had a test on that. They had us all hold up books. In college, I'm like, I'm paying hundreds of dollars and thousands of not hundreds, thousands of dollars for this. And
Yeah.
no, that training was a big aha. And I'm gonna cough and I'm sorry.
Megan
So
just had, and is getting over pneumonia.
yes. Yes, I am. And
But
thank you for being gracious with me. I'm gonna try to hold it in as much as I can. But
oh, well, our kids bring home all kinds of things, so,
I know
it's
that's
just a
the
matter of
thing.
time.
I know I have two young ones, so we're always having something here. But
I got accused of giving somebody arthritis today.
arthritis,
It was a
that
trip.
is that's a new one. Were you having
It
to
was a
work out or
joke, but
something?
somebody was like, "I think I caught your arthritis." I was
Oh my
like,
goodness. You're
"You
like,
can catch the complaining. I'll complain
you
about my aches and pains all day long." I sit on a
and then
heating pad. I was like, it was
oh, that is so
it was
funny.
all in good fun. But so,
Oh,
I mean, I think this is a fascinating journey because it was really
mhm,
letters that made you
mhm.
like,
That was the
"Huh."
first flag that was like, wow. And then it went into this obsession, and I'll get into that in a minute. I get obsessed with things.
Yeah,
I
me
get
too.
deeply obsessed. So then it went into how many structured literacy books can I read? How many, like, I just wanted to know everything. And it came to the point where I was working in a very small town. I live in this very small town in Minnesota. And I had this fire in me that I want to do more. I don't want it just to be in this town of 3,000 people and this school of 400 kids. How do I spread this? Because at the time, this was about 2020. It wasn't as well known. I feel like, hallelujah, science of reading is really becoming a more known thing and more people are aware of it. But at the time, it really wasn't. It felt like no one knew what I was talking about. I would go talk to teachers in meetings about their kids, and they're like, well, why are you doing this structured literacy? They
Yeah.
bought balanced literacy, like the wrong curriculums, curriculums. They're spending
Yeah.
and trying to make me use it. And I said, I am not using this. And then I got in big trouble. It was this whole drama
Right.
of me putting my foot down saying, I'm not using these curriculums with
Yeah.
students that I
And
work with anymore.
if you've made it this far and you're like, "I wanna learn more," you need to
Mhm.
pause me, go away from us, and go
Mhm.
listen to all of Sold a Story, and
Hallelujah.
then
Yes.
Sold a
Yes.
Story podcast, and
Mhm.
then come back here, and
Yep.
you will be like, "Yes, Megan, tell me more."
Yes. That was a huge thing too. The Soul to Story was
Yeah.
that was coming out right at the time that all of these epiphanies were happening.
Okay.
And so it was just fueling this fire inside of me of this needs to change. Um, so Laura and I, she was on this journey with me. We ended up starting this business, Developing Readers Academy, because we had to break free of the system that was trying to force us to do what we knew was wrong
Yeah.
and help kids in a way that really truly helps them. So that's kind of the journey to getting to this business. We left our school, we jumped full in. It was the scariest thing I've ever done, leaving my stable job, you know, but it was like, I
Yeah.
have to do this. This
Yeah.
is bigger than me at this point. A year
So what do
into
you
it.
do?
Oh,
What does
yes.
Developing Readers Academy do?
Yes. So we started out really just an on-demand tutoring where we do Orton-Gillingham style tutoring. We do it in a on-demand way so that it's more accessible to more families. Um, Come to find out how we do it is really, really great for neurodivergent kids because it's bite-sized lessons that parents can do really consistently. So instead of let's go once a week for an hour, now they can do 5 to 10 minute mini parts of the Orton-Gillingham lesson throughout the week. And
Nice.
parents can be involved. They can know what they're doing without having to become a reading specialist. They don't
Yeah.
have to, go in and be like, oh, this is what a diphthong is, and this is what, syllable types. And I'll take care of that. But I want the parents involved. I want them to know what's going on so they can bring the learning into that real reading that they're doing. Like, hey, didn't we talk about digraphs today? Can you find any digraphs? So I'm supporting the parents in learning these things alongside their child without them having to go like be the teacher. You don't have to go get your
Okay.
degree in this. I'll take care of that. About a year into starting this, so I created this. It started out as a kindergarten through second grade, so we created that. We now also have a third through eighth grade program, so we're kindergarten through eighth grade, working
Great.
on foundational skills. Our goal
Yeah.
is getting kids fluently reading by the end of the program.
Great. So what do you use for those upper grade levels?
So it's still Orton-Gillingham. What I did, because the younger ones, I become Miss Buddy. I am
Yeah.
this character. I am over the top. I'm like in tie dye and bows and like think Miss Rachel, but reading and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And parents would come to us with a third, fourth grader. They'd try it and go, they really Miss Buddy. They can't handle Miss Buddy. Like she's a little
Right.
too much. So I ended up creating a very similar program. So it's still phonemic awareness. We still cover letters. We still cover phonics, syllable types, morphology, all these different foundational skills.
Yeah.
but done. I'm just Buddy. I'm not Miss Buddy anymore. And it's more um, done in a way that's more respectful of their age, but
Yeah.
still
Yeah.
filling in those foundational gaps. If
It's
they need
so
phonemic
good.
awareness, we got to do phonemic awareness. Sorry, like we need
Right.
this. If they
Right.
need letters, we got to work on letters. So it's just a more respectful way for them to catch up.
Love. So, so good. So today what we're going to talk about is something that runs adjacent to reading and to, you know, a lot of kids that struggle with reading, whether or not they have a diagnosis as a specific learning disability and any kind of reading process. Um, something that we see co-occurring very, very often is ADHD. Um,
Yes.
so should we pause and talk a little bit about the co-occurring nature of I call them cousins, right? Like
Yeah.
dyslexia, all the
Yeah.
SLDs, and let's just say also struggles with reading and then
Yep.
ADHD. They happen a lot together, right?
Absolutely, 100%. And this became a huge passion of mine. My son got diagnosed with both autism and ADHD. Um, and that spiraled me about a year into my business that I want to help neurodivergent kids. Like this
Yeah.
is really a huge gap. And yeah, a lot of ADHD kiddos specifically are struggling with reading, not at all because they can't learn these skills or it's impossible. It's these other things that are going on that we're not addressing in schools and at home, mostly unaware of. Most teachers are not trained to help ADHD kids
Mhm.
specifically. Most parents have ADHD kids and have no idea
Yeah.
how to support them with their education. But because of what ADHD is, and because of the executive functioning issues, because of the dopamine things that are going on, it makes it really difficult to learn in a traditional sense.
Yeah.
It makes it
Yeah.
seem like they can't do things, but they can. They just need the right support.
Well,
So,
and like old school supports don't work or don't work as effectively as they can. And also something else that I realized as a parent, because both of my kids have ADHD and I was late diagnosed with ADHD only
mhm.
because we tested my adrenal hormones. And I was like, oh, this totally tracks. Like
Yeah.
my
Yeah.
whole life has like been a lie.
Isn't that a wild? Because I'm also late diagnosed after
Yeah.
my kid, after my son. It's wild, like, looking back and going, "Oh, that's
Uh-huh.
why that was going," like, so many things clicked.
Yeah. My audience has heard me say this 1,000 times, so you guys can hit the 30 forward button a couple of times, but for me, Megan, what happened was I'm like a true, like, girl masker. I thought I was like a walking executive function, and I am. Like, everything is organized, there's lists, it's color coded, I've written it thousands of times, it's like I think in an outline, but obviously that was my brain being like, "Come on, like, dummy, get it together," right? When in
Yes.
fact
Yeah.
and, like, what a terrible culture that we lived in, that's what I said to myself, right? Like, instead of
Yeah.
like, "Hey," and I also am very, very independent and self-assured, so, like, don't get me wrong, I was not calling myself a dummy. But, like, truly, my brain desired to be organized, and I just developed all the skills and strategies to make it this far, you know?
Yeah.
I think that's
Yeah.
common.
Absolutely. And then I was reading an article about how for women, we are so good at masking.
Yeah.
And then it comes to your point in life, especially when you have kids, when you do start these big things where it just all falls to pieces, where it's like,
Amen.
I can't mask this. I'm trying so hard. And then having kids, as you know, who are
Yeah,
also neurodivergent. And then it's just this
right.
mess,
And all of a
hot mess
sudden, like,
express. Yeah.
the TV's on and somebody asks you what's for dinner, and you're like, "I don't know, turn up the TV and I can process your question and
Yep.
answer."
Yes. Exactly. Exactly. My big one for me that has been the aha is my working memory and how bad it really is and how I don't know how I remember anything. Like people
Yeah,
tell me things 5 minutes later, what did you say? And it's
yeah. Yeah, it's
so
interesting. I mean, so and I think this is very relatable, like, this, you know, sometimes when I'm on the podcast, I'm like, "Get to the point here," but, like, I was super proud of my kid yesterday, and these are the kinds of ahas that I work with my clients that are like, "I had no idea." But my kid, is a freshman in college, and he's, like, you know, high performing, wicked smart, and, he was studying for an exam, semester a couple weeks ago, and it went fine. But I was like, "Well, don't forget, honey, like, you because of your working memory, you cannot just study for it before a test. Like, you can't cram like everybody else. It's very important that you review, that you test yourself, that you cover." I mean, I guess they cover their screens now, but, like, put everything in order and then, like, test yourself because you know how we did it with
Yeah,
paper? Like, cover,
absolutely.
like,
Yeah,
another piece
yeah,
of paper. I guess they cover their screens. I was like, "I don't know what you cover. I'll pay for you to print something if that helps." But, like,
yeah, yeah.
and just yesterday, he was like, "Mom, I have a test next Monday, and I already started to study for it, and I'm studying after every test, after every class." And I was like, "See? One
Yes,
mom knows something."
yes, yes, you do. That is for us ADHDers, we need that bite size and we need to keep it going. Yes, because
Yep.
it slide right out of
Yeah.
there. That's what I say. Yep.
So you have something that you call the ADHD success triangle, and that's
I
really what we
do.
intended to talk about today. So
Yes.
tell us what that is. It's so cool. I love this.
Oh,
Yeah.
thank you. It came from a moment of really a big frustration with my lovely son, who's a second grader. So we're in the early stages. Last year he got an assignment and I said, Keegan, let's do your reading assignment. It was like cutting out pictures and matching them with the word. And he went into a full on meltdown, like full on, oh my gosh, his head was exploding, like so bad. And it piqued this curiosity in me of why is this happening? What is going on? And how can I help him? Because to see this little body get so upset so fast because I said time for homework. And that dug me into more research and more learning. And what I came up with was the ADHD success triangle. There's imagine a triangle and there's 4 layers. And the top layer is where you're ready to learn, you're ready to read, you're ready to do your thing. That's where most people start. They just say, time to read, time for homework, time for school, let's go. But with the ADHD brain and with the executive functioning, with the dopamine, with all the things that are impacted, there has to be a few things in place first before they are ready to go. And once we can get these 3 things ready, learning is going to be so much easier. It's going to be so much smoother. And it's something that parents and teachers alike can use. So, the bottom layer, the first thing that I always address with my son, and it's more of an ongoing one, is belief. So, 2-pronged. He has to believe that he can be successful, that if it might feel hard, might not get it right away, but if I try, I can be successful. He also has to believe that he's safe making mistakes. He's
Mhm.
safe on this journey with the people that he's around. So there's this belief layer.
Yep.
So this is something that I consider it like planting seeds. It's something we're working on every day. It's something I'm helping with, his self-talk, with how he thinks of himself as a learner. We're constantly working on this. So that's kind of the first layer.
Yep.
Layer up after that is the executive functioning. Is what
Mhm.
is his what I call friction points? What are for him? It's emotional regulation, impulse control are both very tricky for him. Naturally, we're always going to be working on these. So,
Yeah.
what supports do I need to have in place as a parent so that he's regulated, so that his executive functionings are being supported in a way that he needs? And this is a big experimental thing because it is different for every child. I can't say that this is going to work for every single child.
Well, and it's different every day.
It 100%,
What works on Monday is never gonna work on Thursday.
100%. So
Or it
I
works
always
on
think of,
Thursday, but not on Tuesday and Wednesday, and you're like,
oh,
"Oh."
yeah, it's like this was fine yesterday. So it's always a big experiment. I think a lot of grace goes into this for us as parents that we're trying, that we're doing our best. And we're also
Feedback.
modeling for our kids what to do too, because he's gonna have
Long, long, long.
ADHD. Yeah,
Yeah, right,
exactly.
right, 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 yeah.
So it's all just a big experiment. And then after that, so we figured out some things to support his regulation. The layer up is keeping him engaged because he does, after about 30 seconds or so,
Yeah,
he's asking me about Minecraft or he's looking at the wall or he's, whatever it is. So it's figuring out how to fuel his dopamine and his focus so that he can stay engaged long enough to learn. So
yeah,
we can get through the amount of time that's right for him. For him, he can sit for about 5 to 6 minutes and be focused in. That's his ability right now before we
yeah,
have to go and reset.
yeah.
Um, but once we have
Which
those
really is and that's also an executive function, right? Task
100%,
initiation,
yes.
management, completion, all of those things, but it's like
Yeah.
a stressor on
Yes,
that particular function.
exactly, and getting that ability to sustain that attention, which is the executive functioning,
Yeah.
specifically for that amount of time, then he's ready to go. So when it's like, "I can be successful, I'm safe." We have the right supports that we're experimenting with. For him, a lot of times it's Post-it notes for him for his what we do for his impulse control is I'll
Yeah.
say, "You're gonna do problem number 1, or you're gonna read this one page, and then we're gonna throw the ball around for a minute." And then he gets to move the Post-it note that I finished problem number 1, now we get to move around for a minute. So
Oh,
it's
that's fun.
yeah, it's super easy. Sometimes I don't even write out them. I literally just have 2 blank Post-it notes and he gets to move them, but that's really helps his impulse control because he
Yeah.
can see that his break is coming. He can see
And
and
it's
feel.
tangible.
It's
I
very
reached
yeah.
over. So, oh, here's mine. So we use index cards, and what we do
Mhm.
there is I write just in Sharpie. Like for us, it's more interoception. Like yours is like like it's task management, right? For
Yeah,
us, it's like
100%.
healing. So I'll
Yep.
write like, I don't really want to do this. I don't really want to go to school today. Oh,
Mhm.
oh, it's a Shel Silverstein poem. Said little Sally Sue McKay, I have the measles and the mumps, a gash, a rash, and purple bumps.
I
You know
love
that?
that combo. Yes. Oh, you just brought me back to about 2nd grade and me. I remember sitting in class
I
listening
do.
to a big silver book. Yes. Oh,
And then at the end it says, what? What's that you say? Today is Saturday. Goodbye. I'm going out to play. It's called Sick
oh my
by
God, that's
Shel
amazing.
Silverstein.
I
Um,
love it.
okay. Anyway, ADHD. Um,
Yes.
but just having that, I think what helps with that is that Jack um knows somebody else. It's like relatable. Somebody sees him and feels him. Like his behavior is communication, right? And I'm like,
Yep.
well, here, let's write it down. And even though I
Mhm.
write it down, it's not like him processing it. I write it down. It's like, okay, cool. And if he's going to work with somebody else, I send it with him. And then his teachers know to be like, yeah, man, me too. Like, or
Uh-huh.
okay, I got it. What do we need first before we start to work or whatever? So I think that's like a really important thing. But regardless, we make it tangible as
Yeah.
moms, right? Like we
Yes.
make it something that is acknowledged instead of being like, you're fine, move on.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Just get it
right.
done. Come
Yeah.
on. You'd
Yeah,
be done
right.
by now. Yeah. That sort
Yes.
of thing. Like, nope, we get to work with what they have to give us.
Yeah.
And it is so beneficial. Yeah. So that's
It's great.
it's I think I lost my train of thought. So where were we?
Well, I think I like this because it's targeting 3 really important skills,
Yeah.
3 really important things that we can do proactively, right?
Yeah.
And so
Yep.
many times what and something that I'm constantly telling my families is we like working reactively with
Mhm.
behaviors, whether they're problematic and interfering or they're just everyday behaviors, like I talk too much or whatever, if we
Mhm.
can work proactively, we can get everybody regulated and ready to learn,
Yep.
um, so much more effectively and
Yes.
efficiently, just frankly
Yes.
faster. Like I said, I just took a 5-mile walk this morning,
Mhm.
and I will be more productive as a
Yes.
result of that, even though it's a
Yep.
Monday and all of the things, because I got myself regulated before I
Yeah.
sat down, right? So that
100%.
proactivity really helps.
Absolutely. And with kids, I always try to remind myself it is, like I said, planting seeds. We're helping them in the long run. My son will need support with this for a while because he's almost 8. He's not able to do this on his own quite yet. But when he gets to that point, we practiced it so many times how we regulate ourselves. What kind of little, I had these, what I call the coupon levers, these different levers we can pull to get our brains excited to do a task that maybe we're not actually excited to do. All these things that hopefully I'm crossing my fingers when he's a teenager and when he's an adult, he can start doing these more naturally
Yeah.
because we practiced it together so many times. So that's a
And
big
I
part of it too.
And I think you're interested in coming to talk to our members about that,
I
right?
am. I would love to share. Yes, I'd love to share about the coupon levers. They're funny and they're super effective, and I use them on myself just as much as I use them on my son.
Oh, yeah.
to get me to do things I don't want to do. So
The more you learn, right?
exactly.
That's
Exactly.
awesome. Well, before we head out, I wondered if you could share with us. We're deep divers here. We
Yeah,
have lots of
good.
people that are like, "Give me all the books." I just put away a stack of books yesterday. I don't know. Well, I have a stack of special education advocacy books right here. Sometimes
Ooh.
people ask, and I'm like, "Well, hang on, let me go to that section of my library." So, like, here's an
Yeah.
example of
Yeah.
a law section. And there's trauma over here, but it's too buried. So, give us a couple of like what books did you love when you started down that
Mm.
reading journey? Because we've got a lot of
Yep.
people that are
Yep. And
wanting to
let
know more
me,
about reading.
the one I have my also have my stack, and I want to say the names right. One that I started out with that was amazing was Know Better, Do Better. And
Yeah,
there's some in front of me. Meredith and David Libin is incredible.
yeah,
And that one's a very easy read. Some of them, I really did like a lot of the David Kilpatrick books, which are Equipped for Reading Success. He has a little bit of controversy around him, whether it's some of
yeah.
his stuff, but a lot of that was my early journey, kind of getting to know it.
Yeah.
Is a great one. What is the newer one? See, I've done that. I've been doing more ADHD ones lately than pulling back.
I know. I'll go like down deep dives. I did a reading deep dive a few years ago. I got trained by MZ, and I just couldn't read enough. So
Yeah,
yeah.
it's so interesting. Once you start one, it's like you go down this rabbit hole of I want to know everything. Oh yeah, Speech to Print is a great one.
Oh, I
That
don't
one's
know
more
that.
that one, Louisa Moats is more of like a college. That one, like I had to think through. That one I had to stop every couple of
Jeez.
reads and go, what did I just read? And let's reflect on this because it's that one's in depth. That one's in depth, but it's good.
Well, she's
Reading in the
amazing.
Brain. That's if you're interested in the neuroscience behind it, that's a fantastic one.
Yes.
Um,
And that's reasonably easy to read, I thought.
yeah, that one was, yes, I
Yeah.
thought that one was fascinating. And that
Okay.
kicked off because I am super interested in neuroscience. I feel like in another life I would have been a neuroscientist after all this. I didn't know I was so interested. And it's
Yeah.
so that part I bring into our program. I have a reading relief program is what we have, our K through 8. And part of what we do phonics and we do the Orton-Gillingham, we do all that. But I also am teaching kids what are neurons, how do they talk to each other? And I'm also teaching kids some of these self skills, some of these confidence, self-talk. How do we, mistakes are pots of gold because this means we're going to learn something new. You don't have this pathway yet. We're about to build this pathway. This is exciting. You made a mistake. So some of those internal skills is another reason that our reading relief system is very different than other things out there. Because I just want kids to learn about all of it. It's also cool.
Themselves.
Yeah. Yeah.
Themselves. It's so
Exactly.
great. You are doing awesome work, and I'm so grateful for what you're doing. Remind people where they can find you.
Yes. So my company is Developing Readers Academy. So when picking a name, I didn't realize that that was like the world's longest name. So we're developingreadersacademy.com is our website. Instagram is kind of the biggest platform I'm on right now. So developing underscore readers underscore academy is our handle on Instagram. So DM me anytime. I love chatting with families, just trying to figure out what the best next steps are for their family, whether it's us or whether it's something else. I want every family to feel empowered and feel like they have the right steps for their child because we got to fix our reading numbers for sure in America. So
So good. Oh my gosh. Well, thanks for joining us.